I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Can I have a motion to call the Facilities Committee meeting to order?
I motion that we call the Facilities Committee's meeting to order.
I second it. And then I would like to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda for the Facilities Committee.
I motion that we adopt the agenda for the Facilities Committee's meeting.
And I second. And now we're gonna have the approval of the minutes by Mr. Weekly.
Oh, you've got the minutes. I did not print them for you. My apologies.
I don't have
We
any.
sent them to you.
Uh-oh,
It's my fault. I should have printed them for you.
I didn't get it.
I usually do.
What day did y'all do? Today?
I know Miss Payton sent them out. Always send them to her, and then she always sends them out.
Okay, let me
I'll send them to you right now. My apologies.
get I can look at it.
I'm getting ready to find them and I can run and print them.
That's totally my
I
fault.
know.
They're probably in, let me just go in.
It's your agenda.
Is it not on ESP?
I didn't
Is it
go
on
there, I was
USB?
looking in the email to make
Okay.
it quick, I'm going on now.
See that, see that, see that, see that. I don't see nothing in the regular Gmail. She must put it on this. See?
Alright. 3, 4, 5.
USB. Show me USB.
I'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get it?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
you're fine.
Did you get them? Was it in the ESB? Cause it
must
wasn't.
have been. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't in our
Yeah.
regular Gmail.
Okay, yeah.
So, we had to wait a minute, just a minute.
Oh, that's, yeah. Well, we can go past the minutes if you want and come back to them. It's all right.
You wanna continue, Ms.?
We could if you want to.
Okay.
I didn't get it either.
Discussion items, Ruskin football field discussion, Mr. Weekly.
Just know that I'm continuing to just kind of get some feedback from some local vendors about timeframes and stuff. We're still their timeframes are somewhere between 12 and 16 weeks is what they're saying. End of our season for this fall in November should be plenty of time for it to get ready for track. So I still think that's the best condition to do that, because we also get a 10% discount on winter rate. So whatever the construction cost would be, we get a 10% discount. Tried to contact John Sharp a couple times, have not heard back from him regarding the PIAC grant, so I just have not heard back. I think the change in leadership as far as the mayor, some of that might have some effect on some of that because of the money that's going out there. So I'm kind of hoping that settles down soon. We'll hear back. I know he was hoping to hear back and let us know by late fall. I know that obviously that time's passed, but I'm sure the change in mayor, although good, has also kind of held a delay on some of the funds that are going out. So as soon as I hear something, I'll report back to you on that.
Okay.
So.
Alright.
Painting projects, cafeteria heaters are completed. The entry steps were completed. I looked at those today. They look really good, really good. And he's continued to do some of the painting for the houses. Got the green part done for that house. I know Mr. Barker, I talked to him today. He's picked the blue color that's gonna go down in his hallway for his house, which actually match some of the other blue that's in the building. So he's gonna paint that at evenings, weekends, that type of thing. Just to continue with, we're trying to match we color coded the houses for the high school, and we're gonna match those codes and paint the walls that way, add some color to it. So it looks really nice. Looks real nice. So.
Thank you. And this is, the entry steps, what you mean by that?
That's remember the stairs with the college names on it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what remember we completed that over Christmas break, so.
Okay.
The college names we did the middle stairs last year, and this one's on
I'm sending the
east
pictures in
end.
the weekly update.
Okay. It's on the east end of the stairs.
College steps?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the college names on the steps,
okay.
so those are been completed, they look great, did a great job on them.
Okay. Alright.
Urban projects, I sent to your email just, I don't know, about an hour ago or so. pictures of the urban playground. Asphalt's complete. Basketball poles are up. The backboards aren't up. The playground's about half done, meaning all the equipment's there. They're laying the turf. Turf, they got half the turf down. And they're running out of daylight. So the next 45 or warmer day, they're gonna come back and complete the other half, and then they'll be ready to go. So we're gonna start doing something. We can paint a little bit colder, so we may start painting the four square and some of that part, some of the basketball ring, that type of, or the free throw lane, and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna take the basketball goals or the backboards and the rims from the other buildings and put up there. There's no reason to buy those because we have some of those already in supply. We're gonna repaint them real quick, make them kind of spruce them up a little bit, and then we'll attach them. But the poles are up, and what we did was we did two 10-footers for the big kids, and we did a couple 8-footers for the shorter ones and one 6-footer. So really short for the pre-K kids so they can play on it too sometimes. So looks great. Last thing I want to do this summer, I won't do it now because the ground's kind of back and forth with freezing and unfreezing. I'd like to put a fence along the side that kind of runs along the track, just so the balls don't go over the hill and down the hill.
Right.
Won't be a big fence, but at least one side and maybe a little bit around the corner so balls just don't go crazy. The soccer goals we're going to move just to the side over here, so the kids can go from playing soccer in the grass right on back onto the asphalt and back and forth. It's going to be a great setup for that because that's really flat too for the kids. So that'll be kind of neat for them to go from soccer right into the basketball right into the playground. So it's going to be.
Now, is there gonna be a cost for the fence? How much would that probably be?
I haven't priced that yet. We'll do that closer to summertime and or spring. It probably wouldn't be too much. I'm thinking 5 or less. There might be some of that we can do ourselves. We can probably put the poles in and have the fence company stretch the fence for us. So we'll look at that in spring when it gets a little warmer.
Now something, since we did bring up Irvin, that I guess the gas pipes. This has been the second
Yeah.
pipes, and I'm kind of.
So here's
Are
what's
there any
happening.
more
No, what's happening
leaks
is
going on in that area?
no. What happened is this summer the gas company remetered the building, and this is something they just tell us they're doing it. We can't stop them or help them or prevent them. So the gas line out at the street, they totally redid it. And so what they said was they wanted to put in a new meter. So the new meter, they put in one at the street and then one at the building. Well, when they do that, they replace that piping. So if you look on that side of the building, the piping and all the valves are brand new, okay? All put in by the gas company. We can't do that, nor can a contractor.
Right.
So what happened is though, there's a bleed off valve, and every gas line for the main has a bleed off valve. So what it does is it creates enough pressure, and it gets to a point where the pressure is too great, and the bleed off valve allows a little bit of gas to release, okay? The problem is that right by that area is a bunch of vents that go into the building. So whenever it bleeds off a little bit, like if it's really, really cold, and we're getting more and more gas going into the building to heat the building, that bleed off valve is letting off just a little bit more than usual. So in the winter and summertime, you would never smell it because they're just not, doing that part. So the bleed off valve is causing some of the smell sometimes. Asked the gentleman what we could do, the gas company man. I said, what can we do to prevent some of that? He goes basically, the pressure is really high. He goes, I can let it loose a little bit. He goes, it'll just not bleed off as much. And he goes, that's not a problem. So they turned it back a little bit and it won't bleed off as much. But every one of those last 2 or 3, actually 3 gas leaks was from that main piece that the gas company called out and said, it's our problem. So they've adjusted it each time. I think this time they may have gotten it right. The first 2 times they just replaced the valve instead of turning it back a little bit, because all those pieces are brand new, which is good. I'm happy about that. So we'll see how it progresses. We're gonna have some cold days coming up, and we'll have a better understanding if his turning back is gonna release less and create less. What he did say, which was important, was he said this is outside. He said the release valve, even if it released every 5 minutes, wouldn't be dangerous because it's outside, dissipating almost immediately. He said so it's not dangerous at all. And I said, okay, so that's my biggest concern, is that whatever you're doing, make sure it doesn't increase our, you know, our liability. So he said, no, it's all good. He goes, we would never do that, so that's kind of the story behind it. It's something that we really had no control over, and they've been great. Every time we say it's a school, schools and hospitals are the two that get immediate attention. And so whenever we call, we always say we're a school, and I'll say Monday, I said we're a school bringing kids, but I said, yeah, we're a school, and they rushed right out. So, but it worked out real well. So,
Well, since with, what about Warford? I know we were talking about the sewer line. Have we been
Yeah.
following up with that? Is that still doing
yeah,
okay?
it's doing
or?
great.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, Mr. Rivera, our plumber, actually ran a line through it right before Christmas,
Okay.
and it's doing well.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we're pleased. It's doing well.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back up here to the 3.0, approval of the minutes for the 3.1, which is drafts for the December 12th by Mr. Weaver. So, I'll look at that. Okay. See something.
On the student parking permits, did we ever discuss, about them paying?
About what I'm
About the students having to pay for the student parking permit?
Now she's here, I forgot.
We did talk about it last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, we did talk about that and what that stuff goes towards. Actually,
She
Dr.
didn't know.
Skinner was talking about, you know, some of that process helps understand if kids have insurance like they're supposed to. Make sure we get their license plate number if something happens or there's a wreck or whatever. A lot of that process helps in understanding who's on the lot, who's not on the lot, and who should not be on the lot. As I mentioned before, and not last meeting, but the meeting before, the $20 goes towards student incentives and student activities that directly affect the students. So they use that money for that purpose, and to buy the actual hang tag that goes in the car, which is a minimal cost.
Okay. We didn't discuss, the Old Smith Hill. That was something that just, are we even doing anything with that building yet?
We haven't approved it
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Haven't approved it yet.
Oh.
I'm just making sure that she reads this,
Oh, okay.
then we'll discuss more. You got anything on
No,
that?
I just read through everything already.
Okay, so now I'm asking for a motion to approve the 3.1 draft December 12, 2019 facility committee minutes. 3.1, right?
3.1?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did I second?
No, you can make the motion.
Oh, your motion that we approve
You
the
made
minutes
the
for
motion, yes,
3.1,
ma'am.
okay.
I'm
I
sorry.
motion that we make the minutes for, approve the minutes for 3.1 to, what is it?
Did you-
3.1?
3.1.
Okay.
And I'll second that the minutes are correct as written. Now you wanna discuss some of the minutes.
Vote on it.
Oh, yeah, I gotta vote on the minutes, that's right. Director Carter
Aye.
and Vice President Reagan is aye, so motion is 2-0. I forgot about that. Now we discussed,
Yeah, you're moving to 4.0?
we've already.
We've already been through it.
went through it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, so now we're gonna come back to it. I know we went out of order, I know.
Okay.
So she wants to discuss something, I should ask for a discussion before we approve it.
An item that's on the agenda or item that's not on
In
the
the
agenda?
minutes, that was in the minutes that she was discussing. She was discussing about the parking permit. I was supposed to do all that, and that was my fault. I know I was supposed to do it, and I didn't. So I take, full responsibility for that. We should have, did that before we did anything. So now since I haven't done.
So I'm sorry, what are you trying to do? You want
So
to?
basically, we went on without, and I knew we should have, basically we should have, for everybody else, we should have went on and waited for the minutes before we did anything.
Mhm.
But we went on to 4.0 waiting for the minutes.
Okay, which is fine.
And then, so now we came back to the minutes, and now Miss Carter, Director Carter would like to discuss something that was in the minutes. And that's why I should have asked part for the discussion of that, cause she was talking about the, parking permits in the minutes.
Okay.
She had a question about it.
So are you wanting to make this an item that you all bring up in under future agenda items?
Yeah, I can bring it back out like that.
So, I mean, if you're wanting to discuss something that's not part of the agenda, you
I
guys
was
can.
supposed to have amended it before I did anything, so I would
Right.
have to come back to it, for the future, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and then the hard thing about doing that is that, you've got, staff here that may not be able to answer the questions that you
Right.
have because they're not prepared to answer them if it wasn't on the agenda for them to
Mhm.
get prepared for, so,
I'll just put it back under future, future minutes, then she can answer the question then. And that'll be better, that'll be sufficient.
yeah, and I, certainly if it's something that we can resolve today, fine, but
What-
if not,
I
I
don't know
can
what
just
the
go back
question
on the.
is.
Well, she was asking some questions about the permits, student permits, and then we stopped.
Right,
Because
right,
we
right.
never did do what we were supposed to do
Well,
correctly.
if you'll email me your questions,
Yeah,
Okay.
then I'll bring the answers to you next meeting.
Okay, thank
Yeah, so-
you.
You bet.
Now, 5.0, I guess we'll keep on going, we can keep on moving then.
Mhm.
5.0, 5.1, future agenda items to go to the full
I
board.
don't have any items to go to the board for this month.
And if there are other items that you guys want, you can bring them up now, questions that you have that you wanna put on the agenda for next.
Yeah, I am,
Yeah.
but I wanna make sure, did you have anything, Dr. Cargill, that needs to go to the full board out of facilities?
Not that I can think of now.
Okay. All right, Director Carter, do you have anything for the future agenda you want to talk about? You want to just send them the parking permits?
Yes, and I
Okay.
think I wanted to discuss about the old Smith Hill building.
No, Smith.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
Some of that, I think, will be discussed in closed
In
session
closed session, okay.
next Thursday.
Mhm.
Am I correct about that? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
I think the last time we was here, we did, and I forgot to talk to. We could put that on there about the Pepsi. I think President Briggs was looking into something in like that nature the last time we was here. So we'll put something on about the Pepsi contract because I do remember and I forgot to put that on there. We'll put that on. And generally, she asked me if I have anything else before that time.
The Pepsi contract probably should be brought up in finance, to be quite honest.
Well, she had it in facilities, and I don't
It's
know.
really not
It's
a,
not facilities.
yeah,
and I
It's
don't know how
associated with
that-
money.
it's not something I really,
Right.
Ms. Wiltsey is the one that.
I guess because the machines was in there and they was in the building, and then that's how we got to that. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to President Briggs about it because she
Yeah.
brought it up. So, I
But since
was-
she's on finance, I would ask her to bring it there first,
Mm,
and then if there's something we need to do with it, it's really a
mm,
contractual issue that deals with money.
mm,
I brought you the contract, but
mm.
I don't have much to do with it,
Right.
so.
So we can probably do that. But okay.
So that won't be listed as.
That
a
won't be
future
listed
agenda
under the
item
future
for next
agenda
month,
right
yeah.
now,
Okay.
unless something comes up.
Okay.
Only thing I see that might be coming up into our next meeting would be the beam work over here at Burke, because that starts in January of
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
And then,
In fact, he emailed me today, and we're setting up a schedule this week for probably starting the week of, and I'm trying to think of a date, the 19th, week of the 19th to start that work, so yeah, we're ready, he's ready, he wanted to wait till after the break, so he's ready to schedule that work for us starting the 19th. We're gonna do evenings and weekends, that type of thing.
And then,
That way he can get it done quicker.
then the room dividers, I think that was another thing that was gonna have to be added into the facility, because that's an add-on and it's also costs money.
Yeah.
That was another thing, so by putting it in the facilities, cause it is gonna be an add-on, so we'll probably get an update for that. Let's see. I don't think anything else, Mrs. Corey, that you know of.
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. All right, well, moving to 6.0, future meeting dates. The Educational Accountability Committee will be meeting on January 13, 2020 at 5 o'clock. The Finance Committee will be meeting January 14, 2020 at 5:30. Our regular board session meeting will be January 16, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. And at this time, I ask for a motion of adjournment for the for the Facilities Committee.
And just to,
Oh,
our
just-
next meeting is February 13th.
and our, yeah, I forgot. And-
February 13th.
And the finance, the facilities committee will be meeting February, what date is that?
13th.
13th at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
5:30, I'm sorry, 5:30,
Yeah.
cause it's 5:30 now. And, now I'm asking for a motion for adjournment.
Okay, I'm looking for adjournment for the facilities committee.
All right, this meeting is adjourned at 5:51. Thank
I'll
you
make
all.
my 6:30.
Yeah, exactly. That was good timing.
You all have a good one.
Me too.
Thanks for coming out.
Yes, always.
We appreciate you.
Everybody have a good night.
You too.
I sat here for an hour and didn't think about the minutes.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You know, that's the last thing that I'm gonna do.
I know, but I can't really even think about it.
5:30. I know I cannot get to do it.
Carl, I met with, Block Real Estate today.
Okay.
We just walked, Simon and Johnson, they just talked about staging and some logistical stuff.
Okay.
About, hey, if they have a developer, how do we wanna handle, like, who's gonna open the building, you know, all that kind of junk.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that he said he's got an interested party in Old Smithville. So.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Isn't that Pastor Hill?
Mhm. And I didn't say, I just said, we're still exploring the local person, and I said, we're kind of, you know, I said, I think that's gonna be a process, may take a while,
Did you push that?
you know, sorry. So,
I just thought about like, wait a minute.
I'm not on my game today, it's